What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today you see the title, you see the thumbnail. I'm going to be ranking a lot of Leon Edwards fights. I tried to watch every single Leon Edwards performance, but I'm going to be real, I fell asleep a couple of times doing this video, so I'm going to be ranking all the big names on Leon Edwards' resume, how he performed, how entertaining the fight was, how good of a win is it, all of that stuff I'm going to be talking about today. And make sure you drop a like, guys, because this was a really hard challenge to undertake. This took years off of my life. Like I said, I fell asleep multiple times. Okay, dude? So, I'm going to try and be fair to Leon Edwards, though. You guys know how I feel. I'm a Belal fan, if you couldn't tell. Just a little bit. But I'm going to try and be nice to Leon Edwards, all right, man? Let's start off with Colby Covington. This is a D-tier performance. This was a stinky, terrible fight. Okay? This was the most boring fucking abomination of a fight I've ever seen. This was terrible. This was a terrible fight. I'm one fight in. This was terrible. This was Leon Edwards' most recent performance. His recent title defense at UFC 296 in December. We're in July, by the way. He took 0 damage in this fight. I will give him some positives for that. He took 0 damage, but the only problem is he didn't dish out any damage either. He did a couple of good leg kicks on Colby. Hurt his leg. He took down Colby, which was impressive. I will give him that. It was the most boring UFC 5 animation takedown. And aside from that, he did nothing. Like, literally nothing occurred. Leon Edwards landed about 65 strikes in this fight. I believe his significant strike count was like 50-something over a 5-round fight. And I know that a lot of this performance is also up to Colby Covington, because he did nothing. He came out with the Barbie stance. He had nothing for Leon Edwards. But the fact that Colby Covington talked about Leon Edwards' dad and came out in an iCarly stance and did nothing, and Leon Edwards didn't even hurt him once and had to grab the fence to head kick him. Like, what are you, not flexible enough to fucking head kick him? You knocked out Usman, dude. Anyways, this was a terrible fight. This was a terrible performance. If he fights like that against Belal, he's getting finished, 110%. Let's move on, though, to the fight that made all of you guys Leon Edwards fans. Let's be real. This is like the majority of your guys' first Leon fight. The Usman 2 fight was actually very entertaining. It was a good fight, man. This was like a Rocky performance. He finally found a reason to have the nickname Rocky. And I'm not going to shit on Leon. This was actually a really good fight. He actually performed pretty well despite the elevation. Took down Usman in round 1. And the thing that makes me so sad rewatching this, well, I remember how happy I was when this happened. I remember the happy boy that I was when this fight happened, man. I was so happy that Usman had finally lost. Leon Edwards had finally done it after so long of his win streak. You know, he had gone on a 10-fight win streak. The UFC was trying to not promote him. The fans were always calling him boring. Sound like somebody we know. And Leon Edwards earned his title shot by fighting once a year, maybe, if that, okay? And he head kicked Kamaru Usman. It was a beautiful fight. Like I said, he also took down Usman. He had moments about striking him. He looked pretty good in this fight. And it was a great matchup. This was a great fight. I'm going to put this in the A tier. Very entertaining. Very rewatchable. Great post-fight promo as well. I come from a zinc roof. Bro, I lived in a wooden shed with a zinc roof, bro. Look at me now. Pound for pound, headshot dead. You know, and he's been screaming that shit ever since. Even against Colby, he was saying headshot dead. Just a fucking joke. But I'm gonna give respects to the great moment that it was, even though it spawned the division ruining title run, the annoying fucking Glazers. It spawned all of it, but it was a great moment. So A tier for Usman 2. Great fight. Let's move on though to the fight that earned Leon Edwards a title shot. Keep in mind, people, seriously, we're trying to say Belal Muhammad doesn't deserve a title shot anymore for beating Gilbert Burns, right? The win streak that he's on. People were trying to say, nah, dude, he wasn't active enough. He's lost his title shot. Leon Edwards fought Nate Diaz in 2019 and got a title shot against Usman in 2021. And when I tell you this Nate Diaz performance is the most abominable, terrible fucking snoozer of a fight, Leon Edwards was wrestling the entire time against Nate Diaz. They're even on significant strikes. If you look at the UFC statistics, they're even on significant strike. Again, can I just remind you, this is Nate Diaz we're talking about, who wasn't ranked. Dude, how do you How do you go life and death with Nate Diaz, who's not ranked? How did Masvidal do better against Nate Diaz than Leon Edwards? I'm tripping, bro. This can't be real. He got a title shot off this as well. This was just a terrible, boring fight. Nobody cared. The best part of this fight is when Nate Diaz fucking rocks him, puts Leon Edwards on Crip Street. Imagine what Belal Muhammad would do. Yeah, that was one of the worst why was it 5 rounds? Yeah, Leon Edwards looked terrible in this fight. I'm so surprised he got a title shot. And I'm so surprised he didn't get any sort of this is the type of fight the UFC gives you when they're like, please do something entertaining and, get the fan base from the Nate Diaz army. And he couldn't do it. How did Jake Paul do better against Nate Diaz than you, bro? Yeah, this was a terrible fucking fight. Dude, yeah, this was a terrible fight. I'm speechless thinking about it because when I rewatched it, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Leon Edwards was grabbing the fence and trying to stand on Nate Diaz's nuts. He's trying to cheat against Nate Diaz again, not ranked, by the way, completely unranked at welterweight. Never been ranked at 170 in his life. Total soy boy at 170. Dude, and the fact that people have the fucking gall to say that this guy is levels above everyone else. He went life and death with Nate Diaz. What the fuck was this? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just shocked and appalled. And this is a D tier fight. This is a terrible performance. I feel like MMA Joey right now. Cut him from the fucking sport. Let's move on, though, to a little bit more of a positive note. I'm going to put the RDA fight in the C tier. This was a good performance from Leon. He actually fought well in this matchup. I'm going to be honest. He actually fought quite well. Good striking in the clinch. I remember a lot of his elbows worked really well. I remember thinking he made this look really easy, and that is pretty impressive against RDA because Usman had a good fight against him. Colby had a close fight against RDA, and we always thought for a while that it was like, if Usman's not the champ, Colby's going to be the champ, right? That's what Dana was saying. But Leon Edwards 50-45ing RDA or 49-46ing him, I believe. Pretty good performance. This if he got a title shot off this, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. But the fact that he got one off the Nate Diaz fight is crazy because this was a way better performance. But was boring as fuck. I'm going to be real. These are two... Man, they're both good fighters, but fuck, I've never been, less excited for a main event. When I tell you I was dreading watching this, how was this pre-recorded and I already felt like I had this feeling of oh, this is going to go the distances. I already knew, but when you re-watch a good fight, you kind of get caught up into it and you're like, oh. You can't do that watching Leon Edwards back, bro. It's going to unanimous 48-47 decision, so... It was really hard for me to care and really hard for me to enjoy this fight. It was a good performance from Leon. That's why I'm going to put it in the C tier. But fucking hell, bro. This guy is just the most boring fucking guy in the division, bro. I'm serious. Leon Edwards is more boring than Belal. This proved it to me, dude. Because there's multiple Belal fights I would rewatch. I would rewatch the Brady fight. I would rewatch... Fucking hell, I sound never mind. I would rewatch the Gilbert Burns fight. That was actually higher output than... Dude, the thing about Gilbert Burns versus Belal Muhammad before I move on. Belal Muhammad landed more strikes in that fight against Gilbert Burns than Colby and Leon fucking combined in their fight. That's why it's in the D tier. But anyways, let me move on before my blood pressure goes up. Next fight I'm going to talk about the Kamaru Usman trilogy. Now, this was, in my opinion, the best performance of Leon Edwards' career. This was his greatest showcases as a fighter of his fighting abilities. Great counter-striking, great takedown defense, great cage grabs. Just an all-around masterclass from Leon Edwards. No joke. I'm being serious. This was a great performance. I'm going to put it in the B tier, okay? Because it was a really high-level performance. Usman was a bit of an NPC. I don't know what it was about Usman. He just kind of fought like his controller was unplugged. But I'm not going to hold that against Leon because he got knocked out a fight earlier. That's probably why. I do like that after the head kick, Leon Edwards in this fight was just, if he was unsure of what he was doing, he would just throw a big fucking head kick and miss. I love that he does that now. He thinks he's going to do it again. When nobody is falling for that shit now. Belal Muhammad ate that shit in the Apex. You know what I'm saying, dude? But yeah, solid performance from Leon Edwards. The only thing that I find funny rewatching this, and I'll talk about that in other fights as well, he does it a lot. Leon Edwards will just do these dumb fucking things when he's fighting. Like he'll be winning a fight clearly, like he's piecing up Usman boxing, and then he just shoots a takedown, gets his face stuffed into the canvas, and loses the round. It's so funny to watch. And then I love watching the BT Sports one because they asked him about it. They were like, "This takedown right here, what were you thinking?" "I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just did it. I don't know, bro." Like this guy fights title fights as if he's playing UFC 5 simulation easy mode. Like he's just trying out the controls. And he loves to gamble in his fights, and I do think that will cost him a little bit against Belal. But yeah, good performance from Leon. I'm gonna put it in the B tier. A lot of it is on Usman though. Look at the top two of his best performance. Both of them are Kamaru Usman. Every other fight, and by the way, these are the most boring fights of Usman's reign. By the way, like these are without a doubt more boring than the Masvidal fights, more boring than a mile by the Colby fights. You know, the Colby had an entertaining fight with both of those guys, and of course, Leon Edwards fights him, and it's a snoozer. But people don't blame Leon every time, even though it's 100% him. Okay, man, and the signs should be there. Look at these other performances. This Nate Diaz performance, that was a stinky, terrible performance, dude. That was the most boring fucking shit I've ever seen. The Colby fight, dude, this made me hate the fucking sport, bro. You guys know I picked Colby. That was a dumb pick, but regardless, I watched this fight with my fucking dad, bro. I'm gonna get real with you guys now before I move on. The Colby fight, I watched it with my dad, bro. By the end of like round 2, I'm just sitting there going, dude, I've been hyping this up to this guy all fucking day. My dad's like falling asleep on the couch. Dude, my dad fell asleep, bro. What the fuck were you doing, Leon? Bro, you're supposed to put on a good show, man. But regardless, let me move on to some earlier Leon Edwards fights, and then I'll put his best, most entertaining fight in the S. Okay? Coming in strong, Cowboy, bro. This was a hard watch, bro. This was a hard rewatch, dude. These 3 fights, the Colby, the Diaz, the Cerrone fight, holy shit, man. This Cowboy fight, you got 2 of the slowest starters in the UFC. They just never left second gear, bro. They never got out of second gear, man. And I love that at the end, Leon Edwards points to the middle and then immediately runs away from Cowboy. Like, it's fucking Cowboy, dude. It's Cowboy, you pussy. What are you doing? It's Cowboy. What is he gonna do? He's like 30-15 in the UFC. What are you doing, man? Yeah, that performance against Cowboy was just such a non-fight. I remember when that got made in 2018. That was like the equivalent of the UFC making a WMMA main event. Like, I think it was in Singapore or some shit too. Bro, when they made that, I remember being like, I ain't watching that. That's boring as fuck. Dude, fuck that. Like, I remember when that got made, I was like, bruh, alright. A women main event? Alright, dude. Like, it's not that bad, but fuck, it might as well be, bro, because there is no way that nothing happened in this fight. Like, if you've never seen this fight, don't bother, bro. You didn't miss a single memorable thing. You didn't miss a single good exchange. You didn't miss anything worth noting. I mean, Leon Edwards grabbed his gloves a couple of times. That was interesting, I guess, but fuck, man. This was a real snoozer, bro. And the thing about Leon Edwards fights, why did they book this guy in so many 3-round fights, bro? If I was running the UFC and I was building up Leon Edwards, I would be doing 0 5-rounders, bro. 0 5-rounders, because sitting through 10 rounds of Leon Edwards point fighting against old Diaz and old Cowboy took a couple of years off my fucking life. I'm not gonna lie. Let me move on though to honestly the funniest fight to rewatch in my opinion. I'm gonna put the Gunnar Nelson fight in the C tier. The only reason it's not in the D tier, even though I'm pretty sure Leon landed like 30 strikes in this fight, just complete non-aggression, zero passion, zero intensity when he walked in, zero intent to finish the fight. Dropped Gunnar Nelson with an elbow. Nelson landed so zesty off the elbow, but other than that, literally not a single hurtful bone in his body against Gunnar Nelson. The reason that I was slightly marginally entertained was because the crowd was booing the fuck out of Leon Edwards and cheering Gunnar Nelson. And I'm not going to say that's going to happen to him against Belal, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. That's how boring Leon Edwards is. There's a possibility that they're going to cheer Belal Muhammad. They ain't going to cheer Belal Muhammad because they hate him. But I'm just saying, dude, I think there's fighters out there that could get cheered against Leon Edwards in the UK. And Gunnar Nelson did. It was entertaining to watch. But fuck, man, it was like watching ADCC out there, bro. These guys just taking turns, taking each other down. Gunnar Nelson actually wrestled pretty well against Leon. I was pretty surprised watching that back because I haven't watched it in ages. I remember watching this card live, but yeah, it was actually pretty good the way that Gunnar Nelson was wrestling Leon Edwards. Bro, one mid-round against Gunnar Nelson. This guy comes back to the corner. I shit you not. He's got his hands on the cage. He's like heavy breathing. He sits down like it's round 4 against Usman. Dude, he was so discouraged by the crowd. I almost felt bad for Leon. And then I remembered that it was Leon, you know? And I remembered why they booed him, which was that media day. He was like, bro, Darren, you're not on my level, bro. I should be in the main event, bro. What are you doing, bro? Bro, you're going to get knocked out by Masvidal, bro. What are you talking about? And then Masvidal just, does anybody have the Wi-Fi password? Does anybody have the Wi-Fi password? And then Darren said, mate, do you think I'm scared of you, mate? Do you think I'm fucking scared of you, lad? Leon, you're beating or come, mate. Don't you worry, mate. You're fucking beating or come, lad. Don't you fucking worry, mate. Great press conference. But the fight itself, terrible. Boring. Non-fight. Complete grappling match. Yeah, that shit's going in the C tier. Last fight I'm going to talk about in the recent Leon Edwards runs. As you can see, a lot of these are fucking C and D tier, bro. Like, if it's not Usman in there with him, this dude's putting up 60 strikes over 25 minutes. Putting up about 1 for 4 on takedowns. And he's just point fighting. Like, he's literally refusing to try and finish. But there was one performance that I actually found very entertaining, alright? I don't know what the fuck Belal Muhammad did to this man. You know, Colby Covington talked about his fucking dad. You know, Kamaru Usman said he's gonna take his soul. He made him quit all this shit. He made fun of him. You know, stand up for yourself, Rocky. Stand up for yourself. Right? All this shit. Couldn't do it. Leon Edwards versus Donald Cerrone. Oh, legend of the game. This is a main event. My first main event. This is a big deal. Nah, couldn't be bothered to fucking try. Nate Diaz, biggest star in the UFC currently. Couldn't be bothered to fucking try. Get chinned. Belal Muhammad, random unranked Palestinian man in the fucking apex. And Leon Edwards is trying to kill this guy, bro. I don't know what the fuck Belal did, but Leon actually tried in this fight. And it was his fucking best fight, bro. It was his best fight outside of a scripted Rocky movie moment against Usman. So, I think Belal versus Leon 2 at UFC 304 is actually going to be entertaining. I'm going to talk about my prediction for that fight next week. I think you guys know who I'm going to pick. And we're going to be doing a lot of 304 content next week. I got a big collab coming next week as well, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, boys, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like to show your support for me having to sit through all of these fights. Subscribe to the channel. And go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bedtime MMA. I will see you guys in the next video, man. Bro, that's nine Leon fights in a row, bro. I truly believe I deserve you to subscribe, bro. Please subscribe, bro.